All right, good afternoon, everyone. We are now joined by our race winner, Corey Day, of today's NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series race here at Talladega Superspeedway. Corey, congratulations on that win. Obviously, your first victory in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. Just take us through that race a little bit from your vantage point, and what does it mean to finally have that, check mark in the win column?
Yeah, crazy race. I think every super speedway race is, but I kind of thought I had no shot there. Really struggled to push guys well, struggled to break everyone's bubble, to be honest with you. And kind of that last stage, things just worked out for me. Guys would move to the bottom, and I'd stay on the top and get a couple spots when we'd all single file back out. And yeah, it just worked out. You can't win one of these without a little bit of luck and a fast car, and I fortunately had both of those today.
All right, we'll go ahead and go to questions. If you have one, raise your hand. I'll work to get to as many as I can. And to kick us off, we'll go to John Newby.
John Newby fan buzz. So first off, when you entered your rookie season, was there any chance you thought your first one would be at Talladega?
No, no. I kind of crossed super speedways and road courses off the list almost, to be honest with you. I thought it would be a mile and a half or a place like Bristol or something like that. So, yeah, super crazy. Honestly, it really hasn't sunk in yet because I kind of had it so far out of my mind that it was even possible for me to win one of these. So, honestly, it's kind of cool, though, that it was so unexpected. I think that kind of adds a little bit of something to it.
Okay, perfect. And then those final few laps where you guys were all three wide, everyone's slicing and dicing. What was that like behind the wheels? Because talking to Jeremy Clements and a couple of the other drivers, they said basically you're all just out of control, but they're all still really proud of each other for not wrecking until that last turn.
Yeah, it is super chaotic there. Everyone's kind of, most of the race we kind of ride in a single file line or we're too wide, and not many people are taking the runs they get. They just kind of gauge them to see how far they could get. They're within 5 to 8 to go. Everyone starts taking their runs, so the lanes switch around, and there's really not much more of, one lane surges or this lane surges. It's some guy will get a run and drop to the bottom, or some guy will, feed the middle. And that's all new for me. I mean, this is my second speedway race, so there at the end, I'm honestly just listening to my spotter and kind of doing whatever he says, because honestly, these races always play out differently, but it's usually the same ending of, some guy will try and block a run and get wrecked and then wrecks the whole field. So I didn't want to be the guy to block the run and wreck the whole field. And I think, honestly, if it would have gone to the checkered, I don't know if I would have won it, but yellow came out, so I'm not complaining.
All right, we're going to go to Bob and then Matt Weaver.
Bob Hockers, Fox Sports. Is this the first time you've ever won a race under caution?
I think it is. Yeah, we don't really finish sprint car races under caution, so this would be the first one.
So was it weird at all?
It was. Yeah, it was, for sure. You come out of 4, and I'd say that's like coming to the checkers, the most tense, highest heart rate, moment during the race. So it kind of went from getting to that point and then stopped. So I kind of expected it to go to the line and be blocking and a lot more than what happened, but yeah, I wasn't mad at it.
And Travis Kelsey or Jason Kelsey was in your pit today. Do you know who he is, and did you have any interactions with him? And if so, what was he like in victory lane?
Yeah, super cool to have him. He's been a fan of the sport for a long time, so cool that the 17 team could give him a kind of behind the scenes this weekend. He came to pit practice a couple Tuesdays ago with me and my team, and they kind of showed him, he did the jack, he did the tire changer, he did the fuel. So that was cool to meet him. He's a super cool guy and really, really down to earth. So a lot of fun to have him here with us today, and I'm going to try and get him to come to a couple more because it seems like he's a good luck charm for me.
All right, Matt, go ahead.
Matt Weaver, motorsport.com. I've had a chance to kind of pick Tyler Mon's brain about the way that he goes about, with Kyle working through super speedway races. What has that process been like with you two, and what have you learned from him to get you to where you were today?
Yeah, I mean, Tyler, I think, is one of the best guys on the roof up there. So he's a super crucial part in what I do behind the wheel. I think everyone's spotter is, at a super speedway. So super fortunate to have him up there. But to be honest with you, I'm still so new to all this that all I really do is listen to him and watch my mirrors for runs. It's a lot of these guys that have more experience can kind of paint the picture of what's going on behind what they can see in their mirror, and they can, gauge, okay, that lane looks like it's coming. I think it's going to, surge really hard or not. Whereas I don't have that. I'm relying on him totally to tell me, hey, top surge in here, get up when you can, or that sort of thing. And we kind of talked about it under the yellow there before the final stage. I felt like I was taking runs and going nowhere with them and backing up almost. So he just kind of talked me through a little bit of what I should do differently, and yeah, it worked out.
Does a win change at all the way that you, whether it's confidence, comfort, feeling like you belong, you're established? Does it take any edge off to where now you can just kind of focus in a way that maybe you were not before?
I don't really think so. No, I think a super speedway win is obviously really, really cool, but it's more of a anomaly. You know, there's not a whole lot that goes into like having the best car. You got to have a good car, but it's not like, you know, it's not like my guys brought me a really good long run car today and I beat everyone on the long run, right? Like it's more of just being methodical and, like I said, taking your runs when you need to. So I'm obviously really happy, and it's super cool to get a win, but I think I'll feel more like I can do it when I get a win at like a mile and a half, or a place where it would play out more like a normal race would.
Okay, we're gonna go to Steven and then, or let's do Chris since you're right there, Morgan, and then we'll go up to Steven. Go ahead, Chris.
Hey Corey, I'm Chris Gollin with Above the Yellow Line Media. First of all, congratulations. The last drafting race we did was Atlanta, where you received a little bit of criticism, which you took in stride. And I was wondering if you could speak to the work you've put in since then to become more comfortable with this style of racing that's led to it now being your first career win.
Yeah, just kind of a lot of studying on my part. Obviously, if you count Atlanta, it's my third speedway race. If you don't, it's my second. So still very new to me. Still, a lot of times today where I think in the past, like those mistakes at the beginning of the year just came from not knowing. I'd for example, filled the gap on the 39, not expecting it to close. Like I saw a gap and took it, and it ended the way it did. So kind of a lot of those things have happened. Wish I wouldn't have had to learn the hard way on them, but they did, and they were good learning experiences. So yeah, times today where I could have put myself in that same position, and I knew not to. But still, I'd say I'm like 30% of the way with learning the things I need to is speedway racing. Like there's still just so much that goes on. Obviously, when you get to the cup level, it's a lot higher too, like higher level of how they build their runs, they're saving fuel. There's a lot more that goes into it. But for the O'Reilly series, still, yeah, it's a long way for me to go.
All right, Steven.
Stephen Toronto, NASCAR pole position. Corey, when we were in Daytona, I saw you talking with Dale Earnhardt Jr. one night, just in the lunch area of the media center, and I think Dale actually referenced that conversation on his podcast when he was talking about you. Can you talk a bit about what Dale told you about super speedway racing, and then what did he tell you that you put into practice here today?
Yeah, Dale just kind of tried to paint the picture for me of what it would look like and what it would feel like. Obviously, he was great at this style of racing, so it was super cool to be able to, sit with him and pick his brain for a good 45 minutes there. And we were able to watch the truck race that night too on the TV. So, yeah, he honestly just tried to explain to me a lot about how the air moves around the cars. He says, the wind tunnel will tell you that the air follows the body super square, but it actually makes a wake like a boat would. So just things like that, where I got out there and I felt that crossing lanes and everything, and it was like, oh man, like he's right. So yeah, a lot of things that he told me that I was able to figure out, but there's also a lot of things that he told me that it didn't like click in my brain of, oh, he was talking about this until it happened. So there's just so much that goes into this stuff. There is no way I could ever show up to a new track and a new car and have every single person that's been great there teach me everything I need to know and not make a mistake when I actually get there to do it. Like there's just so much that goes on. Obviously, you're in a different mindset when you're sitting in that car and you got adrenaline going. So it's tough. Like I said, I'm still really not as far along as I think I should have been to win one of these, but it just worked out. And yeah, he was a lot of help though, for sure.
Right. And I know that Hendrick and Junior Motorsports have a very close working relationship. So did Dale seek you out? Did you seek him out? How did that come to be, I guess you would say?
A little bit of both. I mentioned that I would like to talk to someone about this, and my crew chief AWOL has been at Junior Motorsports before and said, Dale has talked to the guys in depth before when they go to their super speedway for their first super speedway race. So just kind of set that up with him. He was happy to do it, which was super cool. And yeah, he was a lot of help with kind of just checking the boxes on some things that I was unsure about.
Thanks, Corey. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, any final questions for Corey? All right, Corey, congratulations on the win.